Welcome back, everybody, to the Rice and Slice Golf Show podcast. My name is Theo. Gentlemen, to my right is Chenji. I'm getting really good at this. Episode 49. This intro, it just rolls off the tongue at this point. It sounds so good, I think. I don't know.
100%.
For the 50th episode, you have to do the intro.
I've just done it. I've just done it.
What do you mean?
Before we started. Okay, not as good as you. Okay, fine.
No.
Episode 50. Okay.
I never said I didn't say that you didn't do it as good as me. I'm just saying I don't think that counts as the intro.
Fair enough.
So next week we will do what do you call it? You will do the intro. By the way, yes, the intro, the podcast has started. Chenji, we didn't do 3, 2, 1. You have to do 3, 2, 1, otherwise I can't sync the episodes. So please, Chenji,
don't let our listeners listen to this. This is how we coordinate things in the background.
So this is how me and Chenji. This is not planned. This is a great intro bit. This is how me and Chenji, sync our audio and our cameras together because we're in 2 separate locations. Chenji, this is exactly what happens for the past 48 episodes. Chenji, please do it because you have to do it. Because
of course
I can't sync it any other way. So please, Chenji.
Okay, fine. Without further ado, 3, 2, 1.
That's good. Thank you. So
Sorry,
now it's in sync. Obviously, you've heard the first 2 minutes.
For those of you playing the podcast out loud with your friends and family, you just heard like Chenji moaning for synchronizing our audio files behind the scenes.
That's our thing that we do every single episode before the podcast starts, but we forgot today. Right.
That's brilliant.
I'm excited. I've got lots of energy tonight. It's 11 o'clock p.m. in UK time right now. We're recording this podcast Monday, the 14th of August, middle of summer. And as you can tell by the weather outside, summer forgot to arrive.
Never did.
Yep. Saturday.
To be fair, it did, and we played some good golf back in June.
Dude, we had good weather for like literally 2.5 weeks, and that was it.
Yep.
I was dreading, right? Because of my work, I was dreading like, oh my god, I can't be arsed with summer this year because yes, it's great you're playing golf in the summer, but at work it's horrible. It's so horrible, dude.
So hot.
So and it's not been very bad because golf has been terrible to play with in, but to what do you call it, like it's just been raining and windy and raining, and like the number one essential in your golf bag is your umbrella, and if you forget that, mate, Jesus, you're done. I played on Saturday. I shot 122.
You're joking.
Yes and no, I'm joking. So
over 2 rounds.
No. If only. So what happened was we started in a Stableford competition, and by the 14th, 13th hole, it started pissing it down with rain. Like it was the worst rain I've ever played in, basically. So by the end, we gave up and we didn't finish the round. We didn't hand the scorecards in. Obviously, it's a competition, and automatically, if I'm not mistaken, it puts you down as like a triple bogey on every single hole automatically. So if you go on my England Golf app now, or on my profile, it says 122 because I didn't hand my card in. So it's like, yes, I got disqualified, which is fine. I didn't finish the round, but I definitely didn't expect a score of 122. So
to be fair, it won't really matter anyway because it only takes down 8 of your last 20, 8 of your best rounds, right? Of your last 20 rounds. Correct.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. So my 122, it doesn't matter basically.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
That's good.
Yeah.
Speaking of playing golf.
Yeah, go on.
I think you should go on.
Oh no. I don't want to say this. This is.
I have the scorecard in my hand.
No. All this time, it's been like 6 days, and I thought you would have forgotten about it.
No, man. I've been thinking about this every single day.
Oh my god.
For context, this time last week, I got stung by a wasp while I was sleeping at 4 a.m. We spoke about this on the last episode, on the Monday. Literally like 24 hours later, we were booked to play at Woburn at the 2 rounds at Woburn. We paid for this ages ago, and we booked it a long time ago. And I was so everybody was looking forward to this. Monday, I get stung by a wasp. My hand grew like 4 times the size of a normal human hand because of the sting, and I was gutted. I didn't care so much about the sting. I just cared that I was playing golf at a really expensive and really nice golf course the like 24 hours later, and I didn't want to first of all cancel. Second of all, if I didn't cancel and I went to play half decent and I could finish around, and we spoke about this last week on the podcast, and I said to Chenji, you have no excuse on why you shouldn't beat me, not only beat me, but demolish me, because I don't think that I can hold a club, let alone finish around, let alone score a reasonable score around one of the hardest courses. Oh, well, is it the hardest course? It's not really a difficult course. It's just trees.
Yes, it was. First of all, we played off the tips, and second of all, it's...
You wanted to play off the tips. And I was like, Chenji, are you sure? And you were like, yeah, let's just play. Like, it's fine. And I was like, okay, like, let's play.
Yeah, because we were at one of the best golf courses, and,
Yes.
from the tips...
You can, yeah, I agree
where
with
you. It's where major championships were held.
I agree with you.
It's home to multiple European professional golfers.
I agree with you.
And
if you're going to enjoy
an
expensive course...
And you were there
Yes.
with a broken hand.
Yes.
You had... First thing you did when you showed up in Woburn, which is where we played...
Yes.
Is to go to the pro shop and buy yourself extra large gloves. Like extra large. Like you normally play with the large.
No, normally I play with medium large because I like like a really tight glove.
Yeah.
So from a medium large to an extra large, and even that was tight. And after every shot, I had to like take it out and like massage my hand, and I had like a cup with water and ice so that I can like cool down my hand because it was still on fire. After all that, somehow I played one of the best rounds of my life. Well, not the best round, but one of the best rounds in my life. Definitely.
Well, no, but all things together, like, if you look at your My England Golf app, like what's your actual? I feel like you playing from the wides, you'd be getting at least 3 shots because of how difficult the course was.
Yes, I agree with you.
And you've shot better rounds, but at easier golf courses.
Oh, 100%. And not only that, I shot better rounds with 2 working hands and no problems. And the idea of playing at one of the hardest golf courses, not the most difficult, but it's just so daunting when you're standing on those tees and you're looking down the fairway and there's no room for error. It's just trees on the left, trees on the right. Like the trees just shape the hole. You can't miss hit unless you're Chenji. And if you do miss hit, you get members bounces if you're Chenji. But, I don't get members bounces, so I have to make sure that I'm like down the middle or at least in play. We played the second round. We only played 4 holes because of the rain. It got really, 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 really bad, and really the course got really wet up to the point where we couldn't play, so we left. Yes, we did get our money back for that round. But through 18 plus 5, Chenji? 23?
Yeah.
So through 23 holes, Chenji got a members bounce on like 8, and not
7 or 8,
and not like a really good members bounce. Like it was going out of bounds. He hit the edge of the last branch of the tip of the last tree, and he would go straight in the middle of the fairway, and you still couldn't beat me. Do you want me to tell your score? I won't. I don't care if I. The moral of the story is Chenji lost. And like we said last week, I would never let you live this down. Not only did you lose, Chenji, I destroyed you. In all fairness, I played really well. I didn't beat you because I played better than. Oh no! Wait! What? How am I going to say this? I didn't outplay you, so you didn't play your best, and I outplayed your best. If that makes any sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You played really bad.
I played in my bottom quartile of my golf, and you played in your top quartile of your golf.
Perfectly put. So yes, I won, but it was still like a bittersweet moment for me because you didn't play to your best. So I couldn't, does that make sense? So I couldn't stand up and say, I beat you fair and square because you didn't really play because I know you can play way better than that. And you chunked a few, you sliced a few, you duffed a few. Say, like I had bad shots as well, don't get me wrong. But I somehow broke 90 around the Marquis course from the tips at Woburn.
You, in the front 9, you scored like +3, +4?
It was a bit more than that. I shot 4. Well, I shot 43 on the front 9 and 43 on the back 9. No, that's a lie.
No.
Sorry,
that's
I
86.
shot 43 on the front 9 and 46 on the back 9. So,
Okay.
Another thing that we need to talk about.
So you were +7 on the front 9.
Which is, I'll take that, no problem. I'm a 14 handicapper, it's good.
In a course rating, which is like probably 135 or something.
133.
133.
Yes.
So that pretty much means you get like 2 extra shots on the front 9.
Well,
So
yes,
effective.
but the front 9 is actually really easy. On the back 9,
Okay, fair.
7 out of the 9 holes on the back 9 are digit stroke index.
Did I beat you on the back 9? No.
No, mate. You
Sad.
You played work. No, sorry. You shot 48 on the back 9, and I shot 46 on the back 9. You played way better on the back 9, dude. The front 9, you were just not half asleep, but you played terrible in the front 9. You could have you've missed out on so many shots, shall we say? And then on the back 9, okay, here we go. So we played match play. I was 8 up through 9 through the first 9. That's how bad Chenji played. And then somehow, like, it went all the way up to like the 16th of me not winning, because he went 7, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. At one point, I was only 3 up from being 8 up to 3 up. And then Chenji actually, I didn't beat him. He just kind of lost like 2 balls or whatever on the 16th. And I ended up finishing the hole, which meant I won the hole, and he couldn't beat me. So you had a chance of like being all square.
Equalize. Yeah,
imagine
literally.
if I was 8 up through 9 and we ended up ending.
Mate, I was so motivated. Because at one point you were like, "Oh, I can't lose." It was like you were like basically like you were something like 8 up with 8 to go, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And I trumped it away. I won every single hole.
Yes.
Up until like the 15th or something. We had 3 holes left, and like you were 3 up. Right, had to win every single hole to equalize the game.
Yes.
And I was like, "Fucking hell, I can do this!
Yes.
Like, I can do this!"
Yeah.
And
And
I
then
scored
at
brilliant.
one point, I was like,
I had a great drive.
I
had a great drive.
You did.
And then my second shot was just slightly slightly off and went into the bunker.
Yeah.
And we all for some
yeah,
reason my
that's
game and same thing happened to me like last Sunday. I just can't. I need a lesson on the bunkers, man. I just cannot for the life of me get out of bunkers.
I love bunkers.
So basically,
I don't know why, it's weird. I love
I
bunkers.
know you love
don't mind.
bunkers now after
I
Dan
don't
Grieve
mind.
lesson.
Yeah.
And but so I got into that bunker and took me 3 times to get out, and I lost the game.
Yeah. It's all right. It is what it is.
It is what it
At
is, but
one
you
point-
obviously you deserved it. But there's.
It's
But
not-
it was kind of funny that imagine we like how good that back 9 could have
Yeah.
been.
If I lost to you and I shot 89, let's say I shot 89 and I lost to you, I would have been over the moon. Because like fair play, Chenji won. He should have won. But I
No,
was
I
like,
could have.
I
I couldn't have won.
Yeah, no. But I'm what do you mean? You could
Oh
have.
yeah.
But,
No,
but
in the
I'm
back, no, I
saying
couldn't have won.
if you played your normal game
Yeah, fair.
and you beat me, and I
you
still
shot
shot 89 with a gammy hand, with an with not right, my hand just was so painful, dude. Within like between every shot, you were literally asking me like, "Is your hand okay? Are you feeling okay?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah." Like, don't worry, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Yes, it was burning a little bit. It wasn't nowhere near as bad as the day before, but anybody else probably wouldn't have played golf with the hand if they were in the pain that I was in. But I was like, if it was anywhere else, like your average golf course, I would have been like, nah, I'm good. I'll stay at home, edit the podcast, do all my bits that I need to do, forget playing golf today. But I was like, no, I'm determined. I was like, I don't care how much it hurts. I'm finishing the round. And not only did I finish the round, I actually played decent. So happy days. I was happy.
But I called it though, right? Like previous podcast even said you're gonna play some really good golf. Well, sorry, not in a previous podcast, but actually yes in a previous podcast.
Yeah.
And it's because you're gripping the club just in the perfect sort of like the perfect grip.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're not holding it too hard.
Yes.
So
I agree with you.
And you're not, you're swinging to sort of like control it so you don't kind of like
I was
hurt your
focusing more
hands.
on where would my mentality was, where would my bad shot go? So if I was like, let's say 160 yards to the green, I would get my 7-iron and I would think, okay, if I was to hit my 7-iron now, where would the bad shot go? And then I would think, okay, if the bad shot is short, I still have a shot in. So that's what I was like. I was like, okay, so just where would my bad shot? Not if, it's like is it the 90% rule that Dane Duffin explained to us?
Yeah.
Where
exactly.
would what is your 90% shot? Like 90% of the time, where would your golf club like? So I'm not thinking about that 185 yard 7-iron that I hit once 2 years ago. I'm thinking, okay, where would my bad shot go if they were supposed because my grip could have could have slipped out of my hands. I could have lost grip like on the downswing because I do swing quite hard. So like my club face could have been open. So I was focused on keeping my club face as square as I possibly could. So yeah, it was just I was just extra focused, and I think that definitely helped. Putting was okay, it wasn't great, but I didn't really 3-putt. I'd say that the greens were a little bit slow, and obviously you mentioned that last time. The greens went great. I mean, you're used to really good greens. I'm not used to really good greens. I'm used to terrible greens. So your greens at Moore Park are just rapid. Like they're probably the fastest I've played this year. And for me, Woburn is like amazing greens because of what I'm used to. But you're not used to that, so you couldn't really you couldn't calibrate your speed with the greens. Obviously, you did in the back nine. You played a lot better. But yeah, we also had a 1v1 match. Is it on the back nine? We had the match.
Yes, on the back nine, it was like the double water hole, which
the double water hole.
Water hole. Yeah, there's like two in the same hole. There were like 2 water hazards.
Yes. So you had to hit
one on the fairway and one around the greens.
Yeah.
Which was
So,
kind of funny,
either you could hit like a 300-yard bomb and drive the green and be okay and skip the 2 waters. But if you mishit it even by 1%, because of like it was like an elevated green almost, and it's like got like a downhill. If you didn't make the green, it would just roll into the water. So we both went into the middle of the fairway as anybody would. And then just kind of laid up. So that video is all ready. I just need to kind of be with you face to face so we can narrate it properly, if that makes any sense. So
nice.
I've got them both saved. I've got another one from Moore Park, I think it is. Oh yeah, the par 3.
That was a beautiful one. That was like the good one actually. Like
that's really funny. That video is really really funny,
guys. Oh my god, I can't believe it. Like, mate, it was. Dude, just stay tuned.
I'll tell you what happened. Shall we just say what happened? Because it's not coming out anytime soon anyway.
Yeah, sure.
So what hole is this?
Hole 12.
Hole 12, and it looks like 16th at Augusta, or like kind of with the what do you call it, with the flowers in the background. It's not that kind of hole, but it's just the flowers in the background. So Chenji goes up first, but in the video I go up first because it's like there's a longer intro that we can talk basically. So Chenji goes up first. He gets his 4-iron, I think I want to say.
4-iron. It was played at 200 yards, I think.
Yeah, and it's like elevated
back pins,
quite high up above like a hill. He smokes his 4-iron, and I'm like, dude, that could be like literally either in the hole or you're 2 feet away. And then I was like
it literally lands about middle of the green, right?
Yeah.
And then just rolls.
Yeah, and I'm like, and we couldn't see where the ball ended up. So I'm like, how am I supposed to follow that? Like, there's no way I'm following that. So I get my 4 hybrid. I smoke my 4 hybrid, and I'm like, oh my God, that looks just as good as yours, Chenji. What is going on? We go up to the green, and they're literally next to each other.
Yeah, they're both off the green, to be fair. They were like over the green.
Yeah, over like
slightly over the green, first cut.
Literally first cut, edge of the green. So I go up first because I was a little bit further away. I chip on, and I'm like, I don't know, 5-6 feet away.
No, like pretty far away, because it was like you just chipped it and it didn't go very far.
No. And then Chenji was like, I'm just going to put it like you're supposed to. Like, you're supposed to put that shot. You're not supposed to chip it. Somehow he hits it 2% harder than you're supposed to, and it takes this massive downhill. Like, it's like a 2-tier green, and it goes on the other side of the bunk of the green. And then he goes back up to hit the uphill putt. He doesn't hit it hard enough, and it comes all the way back down even further. Hits it again, comes all the way back down again, and then hits it again, and is like 6 feet away. Hits it, misses, and then he.
No. I made that putt. I made the 6-foot putt or something,
the
like
funniest,
10 foot. Yeah.
I can't wait for that video to come out. It's such a funny little video of Chenji
trying. And you made par bogey.
I think I made 4, and I was like, that's
Okay,
good enough for me.
Right.
But yeah, that was really funny. So yeah, when we're face to face next
It's
time,
like two emotions, right? Like, first of all, first you think you got a hole in one. Next thing you know, you walk out with a quadruple bogey.
Yeah. Madness. Speaking
hashtag welcome to golf.
I know, mate. Speaking of quadruple bogeys, I've got a little stat for you if you want to hear it.
Go on then.
Okay, here we go. I've got it ready here. Only 3 players in PGA Tour history have carded a score of 15 or higher on a single hole. Do you want to have a guess at who these players are? You definitely know 2 of them.
Kevin Na.
So you've seen the post, haven't you?
I've seen that post. Yes.
Okay.
But I can't remember. I know Kevin Na was on there.
Sorry. So Gary McCord, 1986 FedEx St. Jude Classic, on the 16th hole, he scored a 16. Kevin Na, 2011 Valero Texas Open, on the 9th hole, he scored a 16. And then John Daly, 1998 Arnold Palmer Invitational, on the 6th hole, he scored an 18. Dude,
Crazy.
That's madness. Can you imagine? It's...
I can. I'm sure I've hit like 18 before.
I don't think I've shot that high before on a single hole.
Also, what do you mean? Speaking of quadruple bogeys, here are the players who've made
I'm just trying to make you feel better. Yeah, I'm just trying to say it happens to everybody. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. I don't think it happened to them on a par 3, but I'm sure they had their reasons. Par 5, par 4, and a par 5. So yeah, not a par 3. But it's happened. It's happened to a lot of people. Dude, it's funny, right? We've never played Ashbourne before. Have you played Ashbourne before?
Yes, I have, but not together.
Okay, so do you remember the hole, the 11th? It's like elevated tee, stroke index 1, par 4, and you've got like a lake in the middle of the fairway, and it's like 260 yards to clear the lake. Do you remember that hole?
Vaguely.
Okay, so it's like a downhill. It's the tee's elevated, and it's a downhill, what do you call it? Like hole, shall we say? And then 260 yards to carry the water, and the water is quite big. So you're either gonna clear it or you're just gonna lay up. And if you're laying up, you literally get like an 8 iron, and you just hit it down, and then it just rolls down the hill basically. And then you've got like the second shot is probably way harder than your tee shot, because you've got like a tree in the middle, you've got a lake, and you've got quite a long way to go. You've got like 220 yards to go still.
And potentially a downhill lie.
No, it's 100% going to be a downhill lie. Oof. So every single time I always go over, the lake. Only twice I didn't go over the lake, not because I got it in the lake, but because I just couldn't find my ball. It went a little bit left, and I couldn't find my ball. Anyway, so we played a couple of weeks ago, and it was a medal. So with a medal, you have to finish a hole. It's not like a stable fund where you pick up, right? So there was a group in front of us, and I'm on the tee waiting for them to kind of carry on so I can hit my drive. And obviously there was a like, not old boys, but not the kind of people that would just hit 260-yard drives over the lake. So they laid up, and one of the guys was like prime position to be over the lake. Like he had nothing in front of him but the water. All you had to do was just go over the water, and you're back in play basically. Dude, I promise you, I stood there and I watched him. He probably hit, I want to say, like 7 balls in the lake. And I'm like, I felt so bad for him, because I know it's a medal, it's a competition, so you can't just walk off. You can't just like throw your card away because you're going to get 122 like I did. You have to finish a hole. And the poor guy, every shot, and it was just worse and worse and worse. Like the shots were just getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And I just felt so bad. I'm like, dude, anybody else would have just picked up and just walked off, basically, if it was like any sort of like not a competition. But yeah, he probably, God knows what score he got on that hole, but he did not have a good day. He was like chucking clubs, hitting his golf bag with his club. I mean, fair play. What do you expect to for someone to do when they get 7 balls into the water? But yeah, it's that was,
and that's how you shoot 18.
and that is, yeah, basically that is how you shoot 18. It's mad, innit? I've got a question for you. I've just thought of this. Have you got any tips for any beginner golfers? I just sprung this on you, but have you got any tips on how beginner golfers should handle golf?
Really good question, actually. Quite relevant too, because
It
I've got
is.
quite a few people like asking me these days how to get into golf.
Yes.
Like they see us, obviously, I talk about our podcast everywhere I go to, everybody I meet. And actually, I think one of the things I've had, how beginner, like literally first time you're ever going to grab a club.
Let's say they have a handicap and it's like 28 plus.
Oh, okay. Yes, I've got the perfect tip then.
Go on then.
Stop spending time in the golf and the driving range and just go out on the course.
Okay. Anything else?
I think that's my number one recommendation.
What about getting lessons?
Of course, get lessons, definitely. I think one of the other ones is to always play with better players than you are at that point, right? So have your social group whatsoever, right? And that you play like a casual round with you, me, mates.
Yep.
But try to at least once or twice a week play with players who are much better than you, so you can watch them and they can literally tell you a couple of tips and tricks.
And
that's how
not only that, you can watch how they play and how they approach shots.
Exactly.
Because
you can see all the micro details, and
Yes.
how they swing and how what the divots that they are taking.
Yeah.
To again how they manage the course, as in are they why are they taking a 2-iron while I'm having a driver in my hand and they're much better than I am.
Yeah.
Right.
And how they manage the round of golf, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. So play with single digit handicappers, play with scratch golfers if you can, right? Just put yourself down on a competition when you see somebody, there's a team with a missing person, right?
Yeah.
Just put yourself down, right? They won't mind playing with you. And if you're just a nice person, respects the game of golf and respects all the etiquette, right? They'll like playing with you, right? And you just watch them and learn from them.
I agree with everything said. My number one tip is not even lessons. Lessons is number two. Not even play golf. More golf than be at the driving range. My number one tip is manage your expectations. Up until 18 months ago, keep in mind I've been playing 3 years properly, as much as I'm doing now. I played for 1 year 6 years ago, and then I stopped because of work. So I don't really count that year because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any lessons or nothing. I was just hacking it around. But properly, I've been playing for 3 years where I've took it not seriously, but it's kind of become more than a hobby. Yes, I'm only a 13 point whatever handicap, but I have been having lessons, countless lessons. I spent a lot of money in golf. I've played with a bunch of different people, a lot better players than me and a lot worse players than me. And the number one thing that there's a book that I've actually read, Zen Golf. I've got it right here. This is a great book to read if you first start playing golf. I don't know if you've read this book, mate. It's amazing. This book has almost changed my perception of golf, right? So it's managing expectations. So you're playing a round of golf, let's say, and you are a 28 handicapper. My number one tip for you is, first of all, don't write a score down. Don't worry about what par is. Don't worry about par 5, a par 3, a par 4. Just finish the hole. Don't care about if you shot an 8 on a par 3. Don't worry about if you shot a 5 on a 12 on a par 5. It doesn't make a difference because you are still learning how to the fundamentals of golf. So first of all, if you're a 28 handicapper, you are not expected anywhere near to shoot whatever par is on that hole. Do you agree with me so far?
100%.
So up until 18 months ago, just over a year ago, I would play golf and not even carry a scorecard with me. I'll just finish, and then I'd vaguely think of how many shots I had, but I wouldn't care if I shot an 8 on a par 5. It didn't make a difference to me. It's just the fact that I was out there and I was trying my best, and I was getting a tiny bit better than last time. That's all that mattered to me. This is just a personal experience. I play. I have a group of 3 of us that play most Saturdays at Ashbourne. I love these lads. When you meet, it's like same with you. When you meet people and you feel like you've known them for years, even though you've not known them for that long. I've had the same effect with you. I've had the same effect with these 2 lads, Jack and Harry, both brothers. Shout out to you boys. I know they're probably listening. I'm not trying to slag anybody off, and I'm not talking bad about anybody. on Saturday, first of all, with Harry, he's a higher handicapper than us. Dude, he started playing in November. For a person that's not even playing a year, he plays amazing golf. He can definitely hit a shot, right? He gets so angry when he plays bad. To the point where on Saturday, he teed off on a par 3. He topped it. And out of his anger, he threw the club. He accidentally threw the club. Out of anger, he threw the club, but he threw it in my direction. By accident, because obviously we were laughing. I love you, Harry. So accidentally, he threw the club in my direction. Thankfully, the head hit the ground at a certain spot and it bounced away from me, but it would have hit my shins. No problem. He threw
broken
it hard.
hand and a broken chin.
Yeah, and I was like, what was that? And I was like, straight away, I was laughing because he's got that angry gene inside of him, shall we say? And he has such high expectations, and I'm like, relax, man. First of all, it's just golf. It's fine. You're going to have more bad shots than good shots. I'm a 14 handicapper, and I still have more bad shots than good shots. It's manage expectations. It's number one thing. Get some lessons. Get rid of your bad habits. But the only way you're going to get better is by playing more golf. So the more times you play per week, and you just keep at it, you're going to fix little things. So, for example, we were playing golf. It was on Saturday. It was a par 3 on like the 14th or whatever it was. He was the only one. Keep in mind, his brother is like a 10 handicap. I'm a 14 handicap, and he's a 20 whatever handicap, right? He was the only one that hit the green. This high handicap player. And we were like, mate, great shot. And he was like, what do you mean great shot? It's on the back of the green. It's nowhere near the hole. And I'm like, where are you expecting it to go? Jack, the 10 handicap, shanked it. He went 50 yards right. I got it in the greenside bunker. And we were like just strolling up trying to think about the next shot of what we're going to do. And he's the one that's not happy because he's 20 feet away. And I'm thinking, where are you expecting this ball to land? And where are you what are your expectations? And it's just, if you don't fix these little issues now, first of all, you're going to fall out of love with golf. And it's the best sport in the world. It's to get away from your normal life. You forget about all your problems. You're out there. You're enjoying golf. Especially even if it's on a bad day. Dude, it was raining so bad that day. And we were still laughing. We were still having a good time. And on the 17th and 18th, yes, it was raining, but we kind of tried to finish the hole, but we're just messing around. I lost 3 balls off the tee, and I was laughing. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I sliced it again on." And he went right, and Harry was looking at me. He goes, "Dude, you are the perfect person for golf." And I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "You have such a good." I don't know if he said I'm paraphrasing, but he said along the lines of, "You have such a good mentality for golf because you hit a bad shot and you're laughing." And he hits a bad shot and he's angry. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to hit more bad shots than good shots. I don't have the time. I don't have the patience. I don't have the mentality to be negative when I hit a bad shot. And I'm really good at forgetting shots. And I've told him this as well. I'm really good at forgetting my last shot. So sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's bad. Because I can flush like an 8-iron and land it 2 feet to the pin. But I will go to my next hole and forget how I hit that 8-iron. Why did I hit that so good? So I mentally, I'm like, okay, why did I hit that so good? I don't remember why. I just hit it and it went, right? But if I hit a bad shot, the good side of it is, if I hit a bad shot, it's really good because I forget that I just hit a bad shot and then I just move on. So it's good and bad. I don't know. I don't know why I'm like this. I mean, it's just Eric Anders Lang has I'm drilled in with him.
No, I think this is just called golf maturity, maturing at the golf game. And, it's like the cliche of saying, what's the most important hole in golf? It's the next hole, right? What's the most important shot in golf?
Yeah.
It's the next shot.
We're not,
right.
I mean,
when and to be fair, I still remember when, back in the early days when we started playing, right? Both of us were kind of very much beginners and amateurs. And we would actually get really frustrated for after we hit bad shots.
Yes.
But now, once we hit bad shots, we're just kind of okay, it is what it is. And then, we just go wherever, try to find the ball, right? And then we find the ball, knock it out, get him back in play, try to get an up and down, or like just try to get it close, hope for an
Yeah.
up and down chip, you know, because we also not only, I think it's because of maturity, but also our short game has gotten better. Because the thing is, you know, I think when you're also like, you know, one of the good tips is for beginners is to practice your short game, because once you are confident with your short game, it doesn't matter how you hit it off the tee. You know that you can, right? Once you're around the green, say 100 yards within the green, right? You're confident that you're going to, like, you know, put it onto the green and two putt.
I agree.
Quite confident with that.
Tiger Woods actually famously has said that his dad, when Tiger first started playing golf when he was like a kid, his dad made him learn golf backwards. So first he started on the green by putting, and then they went to 25 yards out, then 50 yards out, then 100 yards out. So he learned backwards. I think that's the best thing. In nowadays, with all this marketing and, you know, all these long drive competitions and the sexy shots that we see are all off the tee, right? And it's all like long drives at 300, and you're like, I want to bomb a drive like Bryson. I want to hit a drive like Rory. I want my swing to look like this. I want to do that. So what do? We go out and we just focused 90% of our time on hitting driver. And that's the wrong way to go about it. Because with the driver, first of all, the room for mistakes is huge. We're talking millimeters. If your club face is like a millimeter offline, you're done. It's going the left or right, depending on what clubs you have, obviously. But at the end of the day, there is not a single club in the world that's 100% forgiving. Like, if you're hitting over the ball, I don't care what club you use, it's going to go right. You know?
There is that like, you know, that self-driving club that kills you.
Yeah. That's the only way. But again, you know, that's cheating. You can't play that in a comp. But yeah, like that's the only way. And even that, if you're not straight on it, it's gonna veer off
that's
left
true.
or right.
If you don't aim right, you know, it's just slightly left, it's gonna slice right? So.
Yeah. So it's just manage your expectations, man, and just enjoy the fact that you're out with the boys or the girls, whoever you play with. Just enjoy the fact that you're out. You know, you finish your week. If you're playing on a Saturday or a Sunday, you've had a long week of work. You're stress-free. Just enjoy the game of golf. I don't know, man. I like when I'm at the golf course, I'm just so relaxed, and I have a chat with the boys, whether I'm playing with my friends or whether I'm playing with random strangers. If I'm playing with strangers, I've pushed myself to play with more strangers this year, just for is it a confidence thing? I don't want to, you know, like that thing of when somebody lets you through and everybody's staring at you and you top it or you slice it or you hit a bad shot. I want that to basically go away. So in my mind, I'm thinking, what's the best way of me playing better is by playing with strangers. So so I can get used to the pressure of playing with random people that I don't know. So if I'm playing with you or with Stel, with Jack or with Harry, like, I don't care like how I play. If I'm playing with strangers, in your back of your head, you're always like, oh, I hope I'm not too slow. I hope I'm not, you know, I'm doing everything right. I hope I'm not annoying them. I hope I'm not talking a lot. I hope I'm not I hope I'm talking enough, but not a lot. You know, it's just one of those things. Because you're playing the same game for 4.5 hours with these strangers. So for me, if I'm playing with strangers, I always start off easy and then I try and ask questions and kind of get to know them a little bit. And yeah, it's just how you meet people as well, right? And I quite enjoy it. So you just get used to that pressure.
So yeah, you know, manage your expectations and just have some fun.
Enjoy
Don't
it.
get too frustrated.
Just relax.
So many people give up. So many people give up after just, you know, again, maybe shanking it too much, maybe slicing it too much, and just getting really frustrated.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the game. Don't even take down the scores. Right. Just get out and have a nice walk. Right. And just pretend it's like a little bit of exercise, and enjoy the time with your friends, family, whoever you're playing with. And slowly you'll get better. Play with better players. Manage your expectations. Right. Learn, you know, again, actually, one of the key things that I saw playing with single-digit handicappers and scratch golfers, even like, you know, plus handicappers, was that I see them make mistakes.
100%.
So once you realize that some of the best players, and you can see that obviously, like, you know, every week on television, watching the PGA Tour, the European Tour, DP World, or the tours, is that people, you know, no matter how good you are, you're going to hit some bad shots. Yep. So that really makes you feel better about hitting bad shots.
Yes.
And plus, just focus on the next one. Focus on the next one.
When you play with like scratch players or like even plus handicappers, like you said, they're not getting any more birdies than you are. They just, their bad shots are just better than yours, if that makes any sense.
Well, exactly.
So their bad
Exactly.
shots is probably like 20 feet away from the green. Or to
And
the
they can
pin.
easily make an up and down for a
And they
putt,
can
right?
easily make an up and down, or they can easily two putt it, or maybe even one putt, right? With us though, it's my bad shot is 50 yards, let's say, to the right of the green, and a 26 handicapper is like 70 yards off the green. And if you're 70 yards,
Which will mean that my second shot will be still further away from the green.
yes,
Right?
yes,
It's like
yes.
it's like a single digit handicap. It's
Yes.
just reducing your distance to the hole
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah.
Like, and essentially like, maximizing the percentage that you get to closer to the hole. Whereas for bigger handicappers, you're chopping down the percentages in a much slower way
Yes, there you go.
between you and the hole.
At one point, I got really over a year ago, I got really comfortable playing like from the rough, because that's where I would always be in the rough. So I got comfortable playing in the rough. I got comfortable playing like really low shots, like really low, like not stingers, but like just low shots to keep it under the trees, because I'll be in the trees all the time. And up to the point where if I was in the middle of the fairway, I would physically look uncomfortable, because I'm not used to being in the middle of the fairway. And almost if you're in the rough or you're underneath trees, your expectations to have a good shot are way lower, because you're like, oh well, I was in the rough, what did you expect? I was under the trees, what did you expect? But if you're in the middle of the fairway, like the surroundings are perfect, you have no excuse but to hit a good shot. So for a while, it would get into my head like, I don't belong here. I shouldn't be in the middle of the fairway. I'm not used to being in the middle of or anywhere on the fairway. So
now look at you, and you hit it down the fairway
Yeah,
every single time.
Not every single time, dude. Like, don't over exaggerate. But it's a lot better than the podcast is called Rice and Slice for a reason, right? I'm the slice part of this conversation. Dude, my slice was 200 yards to the right, like 18 months ago. And now the slice might come out maybe once or twice, maybe around. Maybe.
I mean, I'm sorry to say, guys, next week when I start to introduce this podcast, I'm going to have to unfortunately say, sorry, guys, Theo's now like a hot shot now. He's like a professional. He hits it straight every single time.
Rice and straight
obviously,
shots.
Exact. So I'm the rice in this podcast. So from now on forwards, may I just introduce this podcast as the rice and straight golf podcast.
I don't like it. Let's keep it to Rice and Slice, dude.
Yeah, so you better be slicing, mate.
Okay, no problem. I get to slicing tomorrow. When I play next.
Do it for the gram. We all like to do it for the gram.
Nah, I don't want that slice to come back, man. It's I get shivers like running down my spine whenever I slice it, because I'm like, oh, there it is. Or I kind of almost miss it, but I've worked,
actually, tell you something as well, mate. Like last Sunday, I played in Moore Park, right, and just a casual game. And I found my trusty slice back. Because now you
play for that slice.
My bad shots are usually like hooks now these days,
Yes.
right? So like, I basically tend to aim, even like when I'm on the tee, I tend to aim right, because I know I'm going to hit it quite like slightly left.
Yeah.
Right, with like a bit of a hook or a bit of a draw.
Yeah.
But like, for some reason after a couple of holes, I realized, bloody hell, my trusty slice is back. As in, it's not gonna slice all the way right. So as long as I just
It's just a big fade.
left,
It's just a big fade.
it's just like it's just a big fade.
Yeah.
Right. You sacrifice on distance a little bit, but
at least you know that
I
what
know
you're gonna do.
every single time if I aim that way.
Yeah.
Right. I just get to bring it back to the middle of the fairway.
I completely agree.
I don't know what I did, but I just kind of turned my sort of usual hook into my trusty slice.
Yes. Let's just say I've had more than this, but let's say out of the 20 lessons that I've ever had in the past 3 years, it's a lot more than 20, but let's say 20 lessons, 18 of them, so it was, I don't know, it's like 85% of my lessons I've ever had have been on fixing my slice. That's how bad my slice was. And it wasn't even, I didn't need 18 lessons to fix my slice. This is what I'm talking about managing expectations. I didn't need 18 hours of lessons to fix my slice. It was just 18 hours of somebody telling me what I was doing wrong and me listening to that person. And the only thing, I'm not even exaggerating, that I've done different to fix my slice is not my grip, it's not my stance, it's not anything. It's my the twist of the wrist on the downswing.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
is the only thing that I've changed, but that has taken 18 hours to get to that point. So, and what that was, it was on one of the lessons, he just said, why don't you try this? Why don't you try on the downswing, twist your wrist so you straighten up the club face?
Yeah, so you close the club face instead of opening
Basically,
it, right?
yeah.
So,
Because my club face would be so open, I would obviously it would slice, right? And that's all it was. It was that little nugget. But it took 18
and
hours.
it's all about muscle memory, same as
Yes,
tennis, same as
yeah.
these golf shots. So
Yeah.
you just have to hit that same shot every single time, so your body, your muscles condition yourself. Like, okay, this is exactly, I know when exactly I need to turn my wrist. I need to know exactly when I need to, basically slide my hips.
Yeah.
So
I don't even think about that anymore. Like, and also, the better you get, the less swing thoughts you have in your head.
Oh, absolutely, because there's more memory, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah. So it's muscle
your
memory.
body remembers. Your
So,
head, like what happens in your head doesn't even matter anymore because your body is just conditioned.
I remember when I first started playing golf, I would have like 12 swing thoughts, like my stance, my hips, my arch, my bum sticking out, and then it went down to the grip, to where my hands were, to the club face, to the backswing, to the downswing, to it was just so many things, and I would forget 3 naturally. You would forget half of those swing thoughts, right? But now, the only thing I think about is my right hand to touch my knee, so that way I'm tilted. And for my backswing, I don't have a practice swing anymore. I don't know if you've noticed that when we played on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I have a practice swing on with the irons. I don't have a practice swing with my driver. So I just go up. I do take a bit of time. Don't get me wrong. It's not to like eliminate time. What I do is I grip it as normal. I stand as normal. No problem. Like I haven't got a problem with that. My alignment, I try and focus a little bit on my alignment, and I try and like the backswing is normal. It's whatever it is because it works. Whatever. My backswing is a lot slower, and then my downswing is normal. And it's just twisting the wrist. That is the number one thing for me. Twist that wrist, and then it's fine. If I over exaggerate it, where I twist the wrist and I over rotate, then it's gonna be a hook, which obviously we don't want. But I almost kind of figured out the happy medium of this is what I need to do. So my swing thoughts are like 3 right now, for example. It's not 12 like it used to be 2 years ago. So yeah, it's And with my irons, I focus on like a square club face. And trying to hit down on it a little bit. Again, if that wrong or right, it works for me at the moment. So when the time comes, I need to tweak a few things. I'll tweak a few things. But for right now, it works. If it is what it is. And have you noticed that I don't practice? Well, you probably haven't because we only played once. I don't practice my when I'm on the green. I don't practice my putting stroke anymore.
All right, just go for it and hit it.
I just go for it. And there's a study that I read that actually practicing your swing while being on the green is actually not helping you in the slightest. So
interesting. I agree. I tend to agree.
Dr. Izzy Justice has posted this on Twitter, and it's a whole conversation, but I'll quickly read it through. He is, or she, I want to say she, is like a brain surgeon, and she has done over 6,000 brain scans on putting alone. So it's a legit study, right? Don't practice strokes just before hitting the putt because it has a negative impact on your brain over 95% of the time. Now, I understand with some of the stats that we come out with, they sound a bit not too good to be true, but they're so ridiculous that they can't be true. They are true. It's just they're so, like I said, they're so ridiculous that they can't be true, but they are true, right? So eliminate your practice strokes to allow your brain to focus on holding your target. Talking the target, having a pre-shot routine and holding the target are not the same thing. Most are better off spending 25% of the routine of the time taking target and 75% holding it. If the brain knows where it needs to send the ball, it will instruct the muscles to do so. So basically, when you're practicing your putting stroke, your brain knows that you're not actually hitting a ball. So your stroke, especially for players like us that are mid handicappers or high handicappers, your brain knows that you're not hitting a ball. So your swing is not going to be this. I know it sounds silly. It would not be the same as if you're hitting the actual ball. It's the same.
That's why it's the same thing as my practice swings in the tee box.
Yeah,
it's like,
they feel so good, right?
You look at pictures of your like
perfect.
practice swings. It looks perfect.
And then you go and swing it.
Like Rory swing,
Yes,
right? Like,
yes,
you know, literally beautiful. Beautiful swing, beautiful follow through, everything. And then you go onto the tee and you actually hit the ball and everything changes.
Yes. And that's why I start practicing on my driver. I just go up and I'm like, because I'm like, your practice swing especially with a driver, like off the tee, it just feels so nice. It's so fast and fluid and smooth. And I'm like, I'm going to stop doing that now. I'm just going to go up and just hit it. And it's funny, actually, Colin Morikawa has stopped practicing his putting stroke on the greens. And apparently it's working out for him. But so I think you should try it. Stop practicing your putting stroke. Just go for it. Pick your line and go and just play it. Don't overthink it. Just hit it. What's the worst that can happen? You're going to, 3-putt again? It's fine. It's not the end of the world.
Exactly.
So it's
exactly. Fine. Hey, look, you know, this is the best part of being a mid-handicapper. You've hit so many bad shots that you just don't care anymore.
Yes, exactly. So I'm like, it is what it is. I'm still going to be back next week.
It is what it is.
I'm still going to play tomorrow. You know, it doesn't make.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to play good golf. I'm not trying to turn pro. I'm not trying to get into plus figures. I would like to drop my handicap like by 4 shots, let's say, and be like a 9.9 handicap. That would be my dream come true, and it will happen eventually, but it will take a long time. But it's just knowing what your bad shots are, and then you're good. Everything else would fall into place slowly. Take your time. I've played with so many bad players that are just literally beginners in golf. And they look at me and they're like, why can't I hit it like you? I'm like, what? You thought that I could hit it like this 3 years ago? No, mate. This is a lot of hard work, range sessions, lessons, money spent, research, practicing to hit a half decent shot that you think it's good because you're a beginner. But I don't think it's good because I know what a good shot looks like. But then you go to a scratch golfer and he hits it 5 yards off the pin and he's not happy with his shot. And I'm like, you're silly not being happy with that shot, but he's used to better golf shots. It's just perspective. That's all it is. So
Always.
Relax.
Same in life.
Yes.
You just got,
take your time. Nobody's rushing you. Yeah. It's a long. This is why you have 80-year-olds playing golf, and this is why I'm playing golf now. So when I'm 80, I can still shoot the ball around half decent, and I can compete in the club competitions. It is that's the whole point. Just having that longevity in golf, so look after your body a little bit, warm up as well. Have a little warm up. Do you know what I do? This is another look. Like, I love this. I've seen somebody say this. I think it might be Tiger Woods that said this. So I do this all the time. I've been doing this for ages, up to the point where it's like second nature now. If there's a driving range at the golf course that I'm playing at, what I would do, first of all, I would go and hit a few balls, but the last shots that I would hit, normally anybody else would be with the driver, right? Because that's you warm up with wedges or with your pitching wedge or with your iron, and then you end up, hitting some big shots with the driver. What I do, and I think Tiger Woods said this, is whatever your first shot is going to be on the first tee, that should be the last shot that you practice with on the driving range. So, for example, at Ashbourne, I would never hit a driver off that tee. It's always a 4 hybrid, like a hybrid shot, like a rescue shot. So the last shot that I'm going to practice with on the driving range at Ashbourne is a 4 hybrid. So that way you're already warmed up when you go on the first tee. Like when you have like a breakfast ball because you haven't really practiced and you're not warm yet and you're not doing that. So the breakfast ball, when you can't have a breakfast ball, is on the driving range or on the practice nets when you hit, that shot that you're planning on hitting on the first tee. I think that's a really good tip as well. So
really good tip.
That's a pretty good tip, isn't it? Speaking of tips, last thing before we end the podcast, I have a little stat that I don't know if it's going to blow your mind, but it's such a good stat that it sounds fake like the other ones that we always talk about, right? So,
go on.
But this won't surprise you, Chenji, because we spoke about this before. Russell Henley, a PGA professional, he is PGA Tour's straightest hitter with 72.4% of fairways hit, right? Russell Henley will sit 77th with the same percentage on the LPGA Tour. So Russell Henley is the straightest hitter on the PGA Tour, and he sits 77th on the stats against LPGA Tour pros. What? How are these women hitting such incredible shots? It's incredible. On that note,
we talked about this.
We did.
Ladies are just throwing darts.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, look, one thing has got something to do with it, which is club head speed, right? So, the lower the speed, the less the dispersion.
Yes.
Right. So that's just, I guess, statistics.
But still, they bomb some drives, dude.
Especially Charlie Hull. She's like
She's
amazing
big. Yeah,
bomb,
yeah.
like power draw.
I'm good that she came second the other day.
I know.
I was watching it.
I guess.
But yeah.
And what I would be really interested in is to see the sort of like a statistical analysis of club head speed in the ladies tour versus like fairways hit, for example, or like just measurement of accuracy versus the men. So like after sort of taking into account the same club head speed, are the ladies more accurate than the men, or do they fall under roughly the similar sort of like path?
That's a great.
Does that make sense?
That's a great idea. That's a great thought. I wonder.
I'm
sure
it's
somebody
hard
out
to
there.
compile the data because again it's very, very different, right? The average for men's is like maybe the club head speed for a driver is, let's just say 115 miles per hour, whereas for the ladies it's like 100 or 105 miles per hour.
Yeah, I think
Right?
yeah.
So,
But again,
if
there's some incredible. There's a reason why they're professional golfers, right? Whether you're a male or female, but it's
absolutely
these ladies are just amazing at hitting iron shots. Oh my! And wedges.
And like recently they finished the last major of the season, which is the Women's British Open in Walton Heath this year, right? So shout out, very nice, finally. Hey, and I played both holes, both courses, like the new course and the old course, and what they've done for this competition for the British Open was they did a composite, right? So they basically use a mixture of both holes.
Oh, did they? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
so like
wicked.
they
That's really
they mixed the match. They basically just mixed the match.
So
right?
the best golf holes on both courses almost.
Effectively, exactly.
Considering
it's a beautiful course, and there's not a lot of trees because the whole features of the course is heather, right? Like if your ball got into the heather, first of all, it's very difficult to find it, and once it's there, like
getting it out is...
you are in deep trouble to actually hit it out.
Yeah,
right. Like because all that heather will just grab your club like there's no tomorrow, and it's so hard to hit it out. So accuracy is so key. Lots of wind as well, and just overall, and those bunkers are super high. So again, such a challenging course, and the winner Lilian Wu hits it -14, and again, so impressive, and where accuracy is just so key. Like keep it in the fairway, keep it out of the bunkers, right? Then you hit like some good golf.
Yeah,
and
incredible.
Then, I doubt if the men's played in that course, they would hit it that low in the same conditions.
Yeah, it's mad. On that note, before we close off the podcast, we have a competition running over on our socials. Well, over on Instagram at Rise and Slice Podcast. Go over there. It's the only pin post that I have on that on the Instagram. All you have to do is just tag your friend, like the post. Obviously, make sure you're following the page. And I've got a bag of goodies that I want to send to one of the lucky winner anywhere in the world, free of charge, from the 151st Open. Take part. I think there's a week left. Is it one more week? So this time next week on the show, on the podcast, I think we're going to be announcing the winner, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So please,
21st.
guys, go like and subscribe. Go over to our Instagram and follow the page. We post daily on there, whether it's clips, whether it's little funny memes, or whether it's sharing other people's posts. Just go. It's a good place to be. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening, not listening. Thank you guys.
Especially English is hard. Especially like we had an episode of just like amateur swing thoughts.
It's not bad, is it?
Who'd have known that we'd give an hour of
Saying
know,
that,
like,
listen.
lesson.
Take
We're
our
teaching.
tips.
Like, how can we be teaching
Listen,
beginners
we're,
golf?
we're mid handicap players. And we're just telling you, we're not saying we're professionals. We're not saying that. Go get lessons from professionals. Our point is, we've been where you were, well, where you are. So this is what happened to us to become a 14 handicapper. So just like I would sit down and listen to a 10 handicapper and what he does, and a scratch golfer at what he does different than a 14 handicapper, it's the same way that you should listen if you're a 24 handicapper and you listen to a 14 handicapper. You know, it is just, so it's just step by step. For example, I think listening to a 24 handicapper, listening to a scratch golfer, I don't think it's going to help him that much, because that scratch golfer, first of all, might have never been a 24 handicapper, so he doesn't know the ups and downs of being that bad at golf. Does that make sense? So, or if he was that bad at golf, he probably doesn't remember, because it was a long time ago. But with us, it was only recent. So personally, I know exactly what I did wrong and what I did right, and that's where I feel like I can help worse players than me. I'm not saying what I'm saying is gospel, but this is what has helped me. Whether or not it helps you or not, is a whole different story. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be that guy where it's like, you get there, it's like you shoot a half decent round, you're like, I'm really good at golf now. Like I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying, I've been where you are. My highest handicap was 26, and now I'm down to 14, and it's only going to go 13 point something. It's only going to go down. I hope, touch wood. But that's just what helped me. That's what.
Just had to jinx it. Just had to jinx it.
No, it's fine. You jinx me. When we played at Woburn, what do you say? You haven't lost the ball yet. What happens? Next hole, I lose 2 balls off the tee. These are all mind games for you to catch up. That's what it was, but it didn't work, did it, Chenji?
It worked up until the 15th hole.
It did, you're right. Right, guys, thank you very much for listening. We really appreciate you. Stay tuned. We have some massive news on the way. And we've got loads of things coming up. We're trying to get guests. So if you have an interesting story, DM us on Instagram and we might get you on the podcast. That'd be good. But yeah, other than that, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
And go take part of the competition.